Having been to beautiful places that most of us will only ever dream of, and always looking for new ways to push his body to unbelievable limits, David Grier has spent the last few years sharing his love for life, adventure and food around the world.
Roughly 5 or 6 years ago, I was in a space in my life where I wanted to search more about myself internally and externally. Being a father of 4 children, I wanted to somehow find a way to inspire my children and show them that it's possible to go out, live your dreams and achieve them. And most importantly, through a journey, I wanted to somehow make a difference in the lives of the youth in this country and inspire them as well, make a difference.
Realizing that his fear-defying, thrill-seeking adventures could have benefits for other people, David now challenges himself to using this platform to change lives in South Africa and further afield.
The journey of the Great Wall of China culminated in the start of a foundation called the Cipla Miles Foundation, which encourages extreme athletes to go out there, achieve whatever they can, but in the process, make a difference. We embarked on this journey for personal reasons, but most importantly, we'd met a group of children born with horrific facial defects, cleft lips and cleft palates, and we somehow, through this journey, wanted to bring awareness to the plight to these kids, but more importantly, make a difference and raise funding to provide corrective facial surgery on these children. And all the funds raised through the Miles for Smiles Foundation gets paid over to Operation Smile, who then use that funding to facilitate surgery on these children. You know, if you look at surgery, an operation to rectify a cleft lip can take 45 minutes and at a cost of only 5,500 Rand. Think of having a meal. By the time you finished your meal, you could have changed a child's life in that space of time. So, you know, it's easy to make a difference. It really is.
Meeting hundreds of very different, dynamic people and absorbing so many diverse cultures are just two of the things that David enjoys as he covers thousands of kilometers on these seemingly solitary expeditions.
Journeys like this force me to stop. And you know, when you stop and you think about life, you start understanding the position and where you are in life. And I think a lot of South Africans have done that. And my journey around South Africa, I saw it. I always say, in the streets that have no names, that's where hope abides in this country. The moment that brought everything home to me was I was up in Mount Freer in the Eastern Cape, and I had the privilege of following this little girl, Zama, through surgery. She had a double bilateral cleft, and after an hour and a half in surgery, I walked out with the anaesthetist, and I had the privilege of holding little Zama and handing her back to her mother. And I just remember her mother looking down to her and saying in Xhosa, "Buhle," which means "you're beautiful." And you know, I saw that parental bond between a mother and a child rekindled. And for me, that moment just makes everything real in my life.
And when it comes to living life, David is an expert on the subject. This guy doesn't shy away from seizing a personal challenge.
I found that through these journeys, I've enhanced my life so much. Personally, I am sort of passionate about finding more about my mental and physical abilities through this. And these journeys are 70% a mental journey. I've seen the effect that it's had on my children and how it's enhanced their lives and our family as a whole, and brought us together as a really cohesive unit with a passion of making a difference. And these journeys have given me the privilege as an individual to be able to make a difference. And I can't explain how that enhances one's life. And you know, if I look back at Madagascar and 500 children arrived for surgery, and my daughter, who's in charge of the surgical missions, she stood there and she had to turn away 300 children. And I remember coming to me and saying, "Dad, you know, what right do I have as an individual to turn these children away?" You know, flying home from Madagascar, that's what drives me.
The huge leaps that David takes to change lives around the world is a reminder that we too can all make small leaps every day to do the same thing for children closer to home.
Now, if you've just tuned in, welcome to eXpresso, your feel-good breakfast show, to a very chilly but very fresh-looking Cape Town this morning. I can't tell you, I'm actually freezing as I'm standing out here, but the breeze is amazing. One of our camera guys was like, "Yeah, put on a wetsuit and like go dive in the ocean like at this time of the morning." Are you crazy, man? Look at me, wetsuit, cold water. Me can't swim. No, let's not do that. But let's take a look at your pollen report for the day. And there'll be a high prevalence of pollen in parts of the northern province, Limpopo, also in parts of the northwest province and a significant part of Gauteng. Medium levels of pollen are expected in most parts of the country, and low levels of pollen will prevail in the north and northwestern parts of the Northern Cape. So be careful. And now that you know that you're all pollened up, it's time to cross over to Liesl, who has information on our long item event coming up.
Cipla, we'll make it better.
Stay with eXpresso and SABC3.